Hello. Greetings and welcome. I am Joffrey, and with me today is just the darkest light. Vector had to go and see. He's got his brother has a birthday party or something. I don't know. Whatever. It's not that important. He's skipping out on us, loser. So
Don't worry. Everyone's favorite, me, is still here.
yes, everyone loves you. After all, I this will make up for it.
Hmm.
Mhm. So today we're going to be talking about the most exciting, oh my god, map. Actually, okay, I'm joking about it being
Yeah, don't
so
forget.
boring. It's more interesting than most of the Africa maps, I'm sure.
We did literally see England, knowing that England was entirely England.
Okay, England and Iberia were the most boring maps by far. And all jokes aside, like English culture, whoa. And then you get Iberia. It's just the only interesting thing happening in Iberia was the existence of Andorra and the fact that we got to see examples of lots of minorities of Andalusi culture. That was kind of neat. But
It is
Gamal
the
thought
exact same as EU4, except Morocco owns one province.
thought there wouldn't be any today since on Monday there will be feedback for the Anatolia Tinto map. Oh, we're
Don't
gonna.
worry, we'll tie that in next Friday.
We always do. Gamal, you always let us know when we've missed something. So we're counting on you. If it wasn't for you, we'd I don't know, we'd miss everything probably. But anyway, today we're talking about Arabia. Ooh. So, sand, lots of sand. Uh, this week. Wait. This is the second. Oh yes, it's the second map technically because do the review of the Baltic and all that. Yes. Hello, Rain. Nice to see you as well. Here on time. Oh my gosh, I thought I could trick you guys by not scheduling the stream until only an hour before the start, and yet still there's so many of you here. What am I to do to get rid of you all? Ah, got rid of Vector. Now how to get rid of Dark. Yes. Alright. So,
I don't know.
Arabia.
It'll be hard.
Wait, this week we have two country maps. One without colored wastelands for clarity, and one with them under the spoiler button. Oh, yay! Please do this more often, because it really annoys us when they don't color in the wastelands.
Well, you gotta click the spoiler to see it.
No, I'm just not actually gonna click it.
Oh, alright, yeah, fuck
Yeah,
you.
I mean it's nice to know that it's there, but I don't actually want to look at it.
True. Honestly, that's true. Can I get it? Can I get this guy a true?
True, on God, for real. Right, so yeah, this is without it colored in. And then how much does it really change? Oh god, that changes it a lot. Yeah. Yeah. I'm definitely gonna play. Yeah, I doubt I'm ever gonna play with colored wastelands turned off. Because you can still see very clearly what the wastelands are. It's got the indentation in it. It's easy enough to tell. But oh gosh, and here too. Okay, this is a big on the west corner. Nakus, however you would say that. You can't even see its name normally, but then if it's colored in. Woo. Um, I am realizing though, what the hell is going on with Subei? You have this country,
So,
Subei.
so if you can't
Subei.
tell, it's actually split in two.
I think it means that there's just two different countries called Subei. They must be in eternal conflict. That's my best explanation, I think.
Wrong.
Yes. Mm, well, you can't prove me wrong, so I guess I'm right then.
They're not in eternal conflict because one is actually a vassal of the other. You can tell by their color.
Actually, you're right. Yes, and clearly that is the correct answer. This Sube is a vassal of that one. Yes, that is why they are the same color. They're not actually fighting.
And now he gets it.
Hmm. So, what do they have to say about this? Do, do, do. There, you may also wonder why there isn't a third one for societies of pops in the region. Well, that's because Project Caesar has several layers to portray the simulation of a believable world. Yes, we do remember that, I'm sure. But there's different layers for the different types of nations. Yes. Remember one of our design pillars, yes. A couple of weeks ago, we presented the societies of pops. Johan mentioned the different types of governments. Some countries, one of them is tribal, which he thinks makes for a good representation of the most complex and organized. Oh, okay. So, yeah, they are
It's
representing. There
it's
are
a
some. Sorry.
it's a long way to say there are no societies of pops in this region.
Yeah, they don't have societies of pops in this region, but there are tribes. It's just that some tribes
In normal
are
tags.
settled, normal settled tags that you can play and build stuff in and all that. Very long-winded way of saying you can play some tribes as settled, which hope for North America. The Iroquois are going to be settled tribe,
But not
obviously.
the Blackfoot. I would hate if they were.
Yeah, I mean,
They shouldn't even be playable.
we all hate those Blackfoot, right? We wouldn't want them to be playable. Yeah,
Because they're in like the worst part of Canada too.
it, they really are. I am proud for the fact that I live in the part of the EU5 map that is just the most ass end of nowhere. It will be colonized later. People will be colonizing Alberta after they're finished with Africa, even, I swear. Because yeah, my city, actually, I just realized that yeah, my city in real life is in uh an unrecognized nation in in Victoria 3. I live inside Nitsitapi, Victoria 3. Um, it's like the HRE, but not on every drug. Yes. The HBC. Yes, all my homies love HBC. I do actually shop at the HBC sometimes. We've got one. We've got an HBC store downtown in my city. Uninhabitable beaches between Yemen and Oman. What a pair. Wait. That must be just unowned, right? Okay, we'll see the counties soon enough, but hopefully that's not actually uninhabitable beaches. All right. Moving on. They have some estate-like features while keeping some other tribal features. I'm gonna be curious what the distinction between, because we know tribal pops are distinct, obviously. So what is the gameplay like for people who are a tribal country? Surely you don't have nobles in a tribal society. You probably have almost exclusively tribal pops. How do you reform out of it? What happens if you conquer non-tribal pops? I want to know what they've done in regards to that, but we'll have to see more on that another time, I imagine. So, the way we've decided, if it's simulation, Arabia Peninsula, there are countries that are monarchies like Mecca, Yemen, Oman, and Ormuz. Mecca, Yemen, Oman, Ormuz. Those are all monarchies along the coast, alright? Oh, and the Jarwanids. Okay, yeah, that's a big country too, relatively speaking. I mean, a lot of it's wasteland, but still. And those that are tribal. The rest of them. Oh, God. All the rest of these are tribes. Hmm.
Wow, the
Hmm.
Muzaffarids are a tribal. So, the Memluks, the Jalayirids.
The Mamluk Sultanate of Egypt, truly my favorite
Tribal. I mean,
tribal. Yeah.
they said everyone else,
Everyone
but I
else, they
mean,
are in the Arabian Peninsula, so that must be what that means.
yeah.
Harb. I wonder what they say if you own a lot of land as like Dawasir. If they're a tribe, it would be like tribe tribe of Dawasir. Just
Great tribe.
Greater tribe. Mm. Great Dawasir. Yes. What happens if you just conquer all of Arabia? Yes. What does it say?
It says Yas Queen.
Yes.
And if you keep growing, it slowly starts getting more and more A's and S's.
Oh wait, they are actually explaining a bit of it. An interesting feature of the latter is that their lands will be full of tribesmen pops, making the tribal estate the most important one to manage. Okay. As a final note, I'd like you to understand that this is our interpretation for the simulation of the game, although it might not be the only one, as it happened with the discussions about which European country should be decentralized, with several subjects and which shouldn't. The good news regarding this is that we will be open to feedback and making changes, as usual, but also that this setup can easily be changed through the script of the game, making it completely moddable after the game is released. So there could potentially be mods making Inner Arabia covered by societies of pops instead of tribal settled countries, if you don't like/agree with our interpretation, or prefer it to be different. Alright, so that is interesting because that implies that they're either, I guess, there's a different type of government. Like a tribal government is a different type of settled country, but they, it sounds like they say that their lands are full of tribal pops. So there are actually different types of pops in the country still, and they will function similarly. I imagine that you will be able to just make buildings that you have the technology for, and as a result, gain plenty of pops of different estates as well. It's just that perhaps you as a tribe, if your government is tribal, maybe you get bonuses to the tribal estate so that they're able to be dealt with more effectively. Because as I said, they're by far the strongest estate you'll have to deal with. So I'll be very interested to see how that plays out in practice. And I have examples of countries that I know I'm going to want to mod that will be mostly tribal. Hello, Armas. Hello. We're just learning about the fact that most of the settled countries in the interior of Arabia will be considered settled countries instead of societies of pops. However, they will be tribal. So, very curious to see how that ends up playing out, where most of their pops are tribal. How hard is that to manage? Dynasties, yeah, eh, eh. Don't really
The
care about that.
Alal. Oh, the Alal Kawaii.
The all
Alal.
all ma
My,
magma
an
I
Allah Kawaii. Oh, why does it say Kawaii?
all all right.
Kawaii.
That's first playthrough. First playthrough. I actually do care about this. I need to play as the all kawaii.
Kawaii Dasu.
Yes. I
I didn't
feel
realize
really
how that
bad
would
for this
sound
country
until I
though.
sounded it out.
I feel really bad for these guys though. They're just stuck in the middle of this empty land. Though
I believe in them.
locations map. Oh, excuse me?
What?
No. Gamalt was right. I guess he read ahead and cheated. What the heck? There's just a it's just empty land. You can't even walk. You
Glorious.
are you are not allowed to walk between Oman and Yemen. Because this shows corridors too, right? Locations show, I'm pretty sure it shows corridors.
Honestly, I kind of prefer it.
Why? Okay, are you serious?
Yeah, because I kind of like separating Oman from Yemen. Otherwise, Oman just gets killed by Yemen every game.
Damn, the Oman is way less dense than Yemen. Uh, as well, there's a lot more stuff going on here. Huh. Because it does feel just kind of weird to me that basically every coastline in the this game has at least corridors to walk along it. Like even this one in the west here, that one that place is getting a corridor added to it, they said. So
I vastly prefer this.
in this area specifically, for example,
Hmm.
you
Yep.
because it means that yeah,
Oman can
Oman
actually
doesn't just
exist separately
mhm.
from Yemen.
Yemen is a lot stronger too. They are a united country. Wait, are they subject? So because Mecca's a subject of the Mamluks, I think. I think that's what they had said
Mm.
previously, but I don't remember. And then Yemen is also a suspiciously similar color to Mecca, but at any rate, Yemen is probably Yemen has some of the only half decent land in this area. So as well, this is important to note. Most of this land is unfucking usable. So Yemen could probably yeah, this whole region up here like it's just trade. It's just like living off of trade. But
Hmm?
Yemen has like the benefits of trade based on their geographical position as well as actually having some grasslands become a desert. The real question is can you color in that wasteland because it can't be surrounded? I imagine it will just get painted if someone owns the majority of locations next to it. So if Yemen takes over, Mecca there and I bet if Yemen owned Dawasir and this part of Mecca, I bet it would color that in because that probably would give you the majority of locations bordering it. Yeah, I highly doubt that it's going to be like CK3 where I certainly hope it isn't like CK3 where because there's some unpaintable wastelands. No joke. Dark, one of the things for the mega campaign, I think I want to do preemptively. I'm very heavily considering for the CK3 part of our mega campaign, um, just toggling a single yes in the code for some of the wastelands in CK3 because there are like five wastelands in the Sahara that can never be painted. They just don't get painted for no particular reason. They just have a little trigger that says unpaintable wasteland, yes. Hmm. Yeah, Armaz, you know what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna be playing a country that is conquering a lot lands north and south of the Sahara, and if it doesn't paint it in, it will look horrendous. So, yeah, for the sake of having actually nice borders and a big name, yeah, I don't know what developer thought that was going to do, but they were wrong. I don't think there's more detailed location maps. I don't know, man. Like, you can see it's plenty easy to see this from here. Not that there's all that much that I want to comment about it, other than the fact that as we had seen previously, there is a shocking amount of density in Arabia. For the fact that almost all of this land is desert, just empty ass desert land. There, some of it's mountains, I imagine, in the middle and in Yemen. But there's a couple, and by couple I mean two, uh, not not desert, but we'll see in a second.
There are many.
Scroll down,
Trust.
scroll down. Oh, non
Dodged.
arid, all arid
Beautiful.
with
Honestly,
some
this is
cold
really
arid
intricate.
mountains. Wow.
This is really intricate and detailed here, Joffrey. They went location by location to decide what it should be. It's just in every single one of those choices they picked arid. But they still went location by location, one by one.
Yeah, I'm sure
It
they
was just
didn't
the
just.
same answer every time.
Ah. It's so rough, man. This is gonna be terrible. And then, oh yeah,
Did
that's
you
right.
expect something else?
I don't know, man. I don't know. No, this is interesting.
All right,
I
maybe Maybe it's a
Plateau.
bit early. I know you hate spoilers, but I have to tell you, it's also mostly desert too.
No!
I know.
No!
Sorry, I had to spoil it for you.
Arid, desert, mostly flat, flattened plateau. So it's mostly arid, desert, that's either flat or flat but high this time. I do love the distinction between plateau and flatland because it's just this is flat and this is flat, but it's up. uh, and there, desert. Yeah, okay, okay. I listen. I was kind of wrong. Uh, Yemen has actually a few usable counties, even a couple woods. So this is way better than I
Whole
thought.
trees.
That they actually have some trees and there's grassland here. Like you could actually farm there. Whoa! Alright, but I am curious to see what the resources will be. The rest of it's just fucking oh, it's so horrible.
You can't
Oh,
have expected anything different.
not really, I get. Oh, I just realized that Socotra is grassland too. Scrumptious. Natural harbor. And bad. I guess that's what sand does. Huh. Didn't really think about that. Wait. Huh. You know, Oman is ends up being a good trading power, but they have no good harbors. Damn.
And all, alas,
The
the struggle.
more the more I see, Dark, the more I am agreeing with you that maybe Oman does need to be separated forcefully from Yemen so that Yemen doesn't just instantly kill them frame one. Oh, they'll still, I mean, they will still kill Oman, but just not as quickly, I guess. Socotra should be sparse at best. It's mostly a barren wasteland with those weird trees. Those weird trees are incredibly based. The the Socotra dragon trees are like the most cool. I actually asked just for a bunch of different pictures of weird trees from folks a while ago, and when I remembered that the Socotra dragon tree existed, it's my favorite one. It's just out of all the trees I have ever seen in the world, they're my favorite looking one. They are fantastic. But yes. Jeez. Rest in peace. I get yeah.
Rip in pepperoni.
Rippin' pepperoni. I know when I'm playing as Ethiopia, I'm just conquering Yemen and leaving the
In your
rest
first
alone.
game.
Well, that was my first game when I play Ethiopia and do the beta Israel and stuff. I guess conquer Yemen and leave the entire rest of Arabia alone. Don't care. You just stay over there by yourself. Make Yemen a vassal and then just leave it. It's like, eh. Ooh, cultures. Look up a picture of Socotra. Yeah, I mean, having seen, thinking about pictures I've seen of it, you're probably right about that Armas. Especially when I think about my own backyard, which, um, my own backyard is probably going to be considered sparse by EU5 standards, and it looks better than Socotra. So
But it has those weird trees.
it do have the weird trees though. All we got here are maples. Those aren't very weird. They're just tasty. They're pretty normal
You
trees.
eat wood?
I would.
Just
I
eat the
yeah.
wood.
Yes. So cultures. Yemen's what?
What?
Look at these little guys. These little look what
They're dudes.
Mehri culture. I mean, I know that Mehri Bahri is a thing that exists in the future, but jeez, what? Oh, there's
They're wholesome little
more.
guys.
There's more Yemeni in this corner than there are Mehri in their entirety. Wow.
And then you got the Dofari.
This whole area is going to be assimilated in like 5 seconds. Also, Socotra has its own culture. More Socotra being based. Release and play as Socotra. First playthrough. But yes. Oh, Mecca is Yemeni. Mostly. Wait. It's split.
I think the city itself is Hijazi.
I can't. It's Mecca itself is in the middle. I think. Uh, Medina's in Hijazi, but I don't know where Mecca is along this line. I think it's somewhere in the middle. Wait, that's why we've got a locations map. Ah, yep, it's in the Hijaz land. Oh, is Medina the southern one then?
Medina is north.
Oh, and Medina is the northern. Okay. Well, they're both solidly Hijazi then. All right. Finally, the Yemen takes an L at last. All right. What the heck? There's another little one there. These little cultures every once in a while.
Uh-huh.
Bedouin Najidi. Can't read that one. But... All right, what do they have to say about these? Cultural division of the region is quite interesting, as it's divided into several Arabic-speaking people. And for those that might wonder, yes, Socotra has its own culture. Socotri. We still have to add some minorities here and there, though, so we'll take the opportunity. We will take the opportunity to do it during the map review. Okay. Bahrain independent. Yemen owns the whole southern coast. So no. No, gosh, Yemen is actually going to be a terror in this region. They're probably going to be the strongest country by a margin, like if you don't count the Mamluks, of course. Oh, it's one of the Arab Gulf states. Well, shows what I know about the region. Yeah. Yeah, I assume it's then part of the lands owned by the Jarwanids. North of Qatar. It's a tiny island. Well, it's oh yeah, that's why I always forget about it. Yeah. Wait, locations map.
Yeah, no, that was Bahrain. It was that little island west of Qatar.
I think. Oh, he said that before I pointed at the island. Um, I don't think that island is its own location. Actually, wait, that is a different color than this. No, that's its own location. Okay. So I think I think you could theoretically start a game as the Jarwanids and then create a vassal on that island and release them. That sounds like a very sane game. Religion. Ah. And this is why the reason who was it? Who was it that said Ibadi time? Was it Evie? I bet it was Evie. Yep, it was Evie instantly first message Ibadi time. It must be it must be done. Oh, rest in peace, Oman. Everyone's gonna hate them too because they've got the wrong sect of Islam. Oh. Was that blue? Was this blue I see up there? Oh, what does that say? Zoroastrian, perhaps?
No, you're actually incorrect.
I think I'm right.
No, it's actually water.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Or the fact that there's a lake right next to it with a different shade of blue.
Armas and Evie. I need to get exactly in here. These people say if body equals most based Muslim sect.
Yeah, I agree. It's
We need,
it's a little rough to tell the difference between a body and
oh,
Shiite at a quick
you're right.
glance.
Yeah, I think you're right. Sunni is very clear. Is a very distinctive color, but Shiite and Ibadi are a little too similar for my taste. I
Let's
don't
go
know
back
what I
to a
would.
body being like super dark green.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it was. It was. I mean, it's kind of darker, but yeah, make Shiite more bright and make a body more dark, and then we're good. I like because I think Shiite was it was like almost an orange, wasn't it? Yeah, it was an orangish color. But I'm down with
No,
them all. I swear.
orange.
Yeah, I swear it was an orange color in EU4.
Like the icon was, but not the color on the map.
Was it a bright green
Orthodox was
icon?
orange.
Yeah, you're right. It was a bright green on the map. Orange crescent. But yeah, it just don't work. It's just confused. Um, yeah, I mean, I liked that. Like, speaking of things I like though, Zoroastrianism has the best color. That is the best religion color I have seen yet. I mean, listen, I'm partial to the pink of Nestorian, but that is I just want to just sink my hands into that Zoroastrian steel blue. Oh, it's really Zoro in dark blue. It is. Oh my, grab it, squish it up. But hopefully, people give them feedback, myself included. Hopefully, I remember to give them feedback. Everyone, raid them. Raid them now. This is your mission. You must raid them and demand that Ibadi is a darker blue and that Shiite is a lighter blue. Make it happen now. This is your homework. You must take the link. Take the link. Go forth, my minions. Make it happen. Alright. Continuing along then. And yeah, yes, of course. You've got the. Actually, it's not Nestorian this time though. I'm pretty because that's not pink. That is Miaphysite. Socotra. The religious division of Arabia is also interesting, having Sunni, Shiite, and Ibadi majorities spread across the peninsula. We have yet to address the minorities, which we're not ready for this Tinto map. They're slowing down, slipping up. So we will show what that looks like on the map and review as well. By the way, we might do some work in the coming weeks regarding Islam, and one of the things that I think we should tweak is its coloring. Oh, they say it! They say it! Ibadi is too similar to Shiite, so I think that this might be a good opportunity to ask for your preferences. Coloring the different branches of the Islamic faith. Yes, yes. Assert the agenda. We must assert our community's agenda for the right colors. We need to agree. We need to agree on exactly what the color codes are. We need to come together and be like, all right. This is the color code for Ibadi, Shia, and Sunni, and then all spam messages saying the exact color codes required. Darkest green, exactly. Good. Yes. Go forth, minions, and prosper. We shall have victory. And as soon as I look at this map, all I have to say is dates. Dates. Because apparently dates are the only thing you're growing in Oases. Dates, livestock, horses, and some wheat and sand make for a healthy economy. Oh, if you're a tribal country, I guess. can you get food from horses? Maybe, hopefully. I hope horses can give you food, please. Because, god damn it. I do. Wait, wheat? I mean, there is a lot of wheat, yeah, as said, but I guess the positive of growing wheat in this region is that if you're able to get enough irrigation for it, you're not going to be dealing with winter. So you won't.
Irrigation from where?
Um.
The ocean, that's salt water. You're not irrigating with that.
Well, then you tell me how they're growing wheat in this fucking place. Look at this.
Fucking no.
No
No idea.
There are dates and wheat and shit. All these goons. Listen. I think this is really putting into perspective for me why I think it's really confusing that there's so much land that you can own. There's so much density of locations in this region because like this just feels weird. The more I look at it, and be like, you can just grow stuff in this much of the place. What? Because I've seen pictures. I've seen pictures of Socotra. I've seen pictures of Arabia. I've seen pictures of Naj. Ain't ain't looking so hot.
I mean, it looks very hot.
Sorry, it's looking a little too hot. So hot that yeah, it's a little odd to me to see them growing so much wheat and dates. It's like I mean, yeah, I'd expect to see like a couple oases. You'd have your oases with salt and some dates, or like you'd have your random just shitty desert that has
That's
salt
where
and
dates
gold
grow.
mines and stuff. But then you have the dates at the oases. Yeah. Um. This is just ugh, so much stuff. Actually, for uniqueness, neon yellow. Yes, neon yellow Ibadi is the correct answer, I'm sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's definitely no other faiths on the map that are super large that basically fit that description. Hmm. Just can't remember where. Respectable amount of sand. The United Sand Company will have lots of land needs to be conquered. I do. Yes, I do believe I can respect the amount of quality sand that can be pumped out of the Arabian desert. So, the on average, it is a lot more sand than you would find in most places, and I think that is that's good. It's good. They shall feed the United Sand Company's needs for producing stained glass. Yes, but yet again, actually, it's not bad over in the east, because you've got copper. Like legumes are dreadful. Like legumes, dates, and fruit are actually horrible, mind you. They are
When you got
like
no other option, sometimes you take it.
like they're good for selling, but they won't produce you much food. Like you get so much more food even from fish. I need to find that document again where he talked about the amount of food that different things produce. But like it was on one of those Saturday building things. But yeah, and there's some rice, which is just the best. Which is fair. But I do imagine that dates and fish are dates and fruit rather. I mean fish maybe too, but dates, fruit, and I guess meat are things that will be wanted by more valuable, more important populations. But I don't know how that will work because we theoretically don't have pops with needs that are like, oh, oh, we're the nobles, so we need this and that. I don't know how that works. But all right. You've got lots of pearls on the coast, which is probably very valuable to sell. But do you have what do we have for like resources? Like because there's all most of this stuff is just like I don't know what are you gonna sell to someone else or what are you gonna eat Well, what is some stuff that's actually useful for building a country? You've got
So,
copper and stone here.
Arabia isn't exactly known for its exports of anything prior to the discovery of oil.
Hmm. Well, that's not a good sign.
And oil is outside the scope of this game, so I think
Yeah.
Arabia might be screwed.
It might just kind of be bad, huh? You've got incense and coffee down in Yemen. If you jump
Just
over to
okay,
Yemen, the only useful part of the region, again,
coffee.
you have coffee, dye, incense, salt, stone, iron. You actually, again, Yemen actually has some good building blocks for a country, and you got a couple wood counties, so you can. They don't produce. They're not like producing wood with the RGO, but because they have trees there, I'm sure there's a building that you can use to produce some wood there. Turn fish into oil.
If only they had
Yeah.
200 more years, then they'd produce a useful resource.
You go. Okay, like I'm talking about how good Yemen is, but then it's like uh, Yemen
Copium.
really like Yemen's resources though are really just good resources to support another empire because
Yeah,
they don't
it has 1 iron.
yeah, like if Ethiopia takes Yemen or vassalizes it, they'll make good use of it. They'll make good use of those resources to sell. Like the silk and the
I'm not.
dyes and the
I'm around
incense and stuff.
2 iron.
Okay, okay. No copper though. You got to get that up from Mecca. If you conquer Mecca, like
You get gold.
you got gold too. Yeah, there's some gold in there. There's a couple of gold every once in a while it seems, which isn't the worst either. But Ethiopia's also got that. And Ethiopia has solid access to lumber and stone and iron and salt and fruit and coffee, and it actually has good rivers along the upper Nile to actually feed people. So yeah, Yemen, the best part of Arabia is still just it's just ready to be conquered. I mean, Ethiopia is going to need some time to build up first because Yemen owns a lot of land, so they'll have a lot of troops. But as soon as that tech advantage, just ugh. Well, I suppose we can probably move on. The alum, we got some alum there. Lead, that's useful eventually, I guess. It's just so sad. And you look at Persia. Like, okay, well, Persia doesn't really have wood either. I mean, they've got some wood in the western valleys. And then you've got iron, gold too. Dyes. Persia's actually good too.
Persia.
Why does Arabia just make me so sad? It makes me so sad to look at it. They even have sand. They even have sand, Armos. Persia actually looks like it's going to be good. It's probably going to be pretty solid. They've got a lot of they have decent quantities every once in a while, stuff like silk. And then you've also got good building blocks of countries like your copper, like quite a bit of copper and iron. No, if only they had some tin somewhere. Jeez. All right, well, I think we can move on. That's basically it. But jokes aside, the desert lands of northern and central Arabia have a more simple resource distribution, while Yemen and Oman, on the other hand, have quite rich resources. I guess. Alum, copper, dyes, silk, and coffee. Who doesn't like a good mocha? Yeah, like, yeah, they're just not going to have the means of defending it. Is the problem, because there ain't going to be any people here. But, and predictably, yeah, Hormuz dominates the trade on the east.
Who would have thought?
Yeah. Adon. I don't know how you actually say the name, but yeah, that is the one city I know in southern Arabia. um, actually has a good harbor, so that they do have good market control over the region, and by that I mean their own country. They have control over their own country's market, and also a little bit of Ethiopia's land. Though that's not Ethiopia de facto, right? Yeah, that's Afar. They have Afar in their market as well, for what that's worth. Which is going to change as soon as Ethiopia conquers it. So
Of course.
that really is like, as Yemen, you would need to so quickly start conquering the Horn of Africa to stop Ethiopia from being able to snowball, because the Ethiopia already has its population center. If they start expanding into those extra resources and stuff, that's just,
Sounds like you're already making
yeah.
plans for our first game.
Yeah, my first game is Yemen, I guess now. Screw being Ethiopia.
Oh, I thought you were gonna play both on your first game.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry. Yemen and Ethiopia first game. New additions to the first game, first playthrough. Who else? Who else was it? Because yeah, I also need to play as Catan, because they have the Uwu dynasty. No, it's not Uwu.
The Kauai.
The Kauai dynasty. Yeah. Yep. Yep. There are five market centers in this region: Mecca, Al-Hajar, Al-Hassa, Hormuz, and Adan. Coupled with the resources in the previous section, the control over Adan and Hormuz will be strategically relevant, as it was historically. So, coupled with the resources in the previous section, yeah. So, because, yeah, Hormuz is both geographically important, because it controls a lot of the trade from the west and east, especially since it's much easier to go by the water, so the trade is going to want to go through Hormuz instead of the mountains of Persia, where possible. And there is also good resources in this market area. And Adan is, it's got the best stuff in southern Arabia, and they do have control over the sea here. So that means that any trade that goes from Mecca out into the Indian Ocean, it's like any trade that Egypt is doing with the Indian Ocean, is going to have to go through Mecca and then Adan. So that will actually be valuable as well, which is exactly why, as Ethiopia, I must conquer it in my first playthrough and subjugate the land. Actually, wouldn't even necessarily need to make it into a subject, because they've got good harbors, so you can have good control over the region. Unfortunately, there's no good places for a coastal capital in the Horn of Africa real around here. I just don't think so. But we'll see populations as we close this out. This week there aren't almost issues with the populations of the region, so we're able to show it to you. The entire region has around 4.5 million pops, which are unevenly distributed. Yeah, I imagine so. Yemen has 1.6, and Mecca 1.6 million. Yeah, and Yemen has 1.6 million, and Mecca has 700,000, making for more than half of the total. Yeah. Yemen really is that guy. Huh.
Uh-huh.
Well, a good chunk of it belongs to the Mamluks that control all the area around Medina. So that,
About 8 times the pop of Oman.
holy shit, you're right. Oh my god. Oh, Oman plus Hormuz is nothing.
Oman, oh man.
The entirety of this area here is just no one. Oman,
Yeah,
oh man, indeed.
And now you know why the Sultan of Oman chose to live in Zanzibar.
I can definitely see why. Yeah, I would too. Hey, there's more people on average living in these locations in the middle of Arabia than there are living in Finland. And by that I mean by a wide margin. There's several times more people living in these locations than there are in Finland. There's no fucking Finns. There's none Finns. The big
What is
zero.
what is a Finn? Can you answer that question?
I don't know. There's like three different cultures in Finland, and none of them are called Finnish, so I don't know what a Finn is. You're a Finn? I don't think so. I mean, let's go look back at the map of Scandinavia, and we'll see the cultures in Finland, and then you can tell us what you really are. Yes. They haven't given us feedback on that yet, have they? Because I bet when they do feedback, the feedback map on Scandinavia, which they're taking their sweet time with, they'll have uh changed Finland because so many Finns are very unhappy with the fact that there are more Swedes living in Finland than there are Finns, which can't say I'm surprised by. That's pretty logical. 41K, 44K. There's actually not a lot of people living around a dawn. This is not actually a great spot. I guess no, it wasn't grassland. It wasn't one of the grassland stuff is all around the little mountains in here. So I guess there must be some water that is caught on those mountains. Hmm. Yeah, there's actually some decent population centers around here.
Just that big ol' zero.
I do love the big zero though. I am genuine. Wait. 93K? There's half as many people living in that location than there are living in the entirety. There's half as many people living there as there are living in Oman. This is reminding me about how I, as a Canadian, found out that there's as many people living in in Tokyo as there are living in Canada in its entirety. So,
And
scary.
housing prices are very expensive in both Tokyo and Canada for some
Oh,
reason.
shut up! Shut up! There's a reason I'm still living at home. And don't start me on that rant right now.
Yeah, what Tokyo has an excuse, what's Canada's excuse?
It's someone's fault and it isn't Tokyo's fault. But it is not a conversation for stream. That is dark Joff emote mode. uh... Any actual
Hey,
population
Vector,
centers?
you showed up at the end.
Yeah. Basically.
Right as I just got Joffrey by saying that even though Canada has the same population as Tokyo, both of them still have exceedingly high housing costs.
Shut the fuck up! Yeah, we were also, in all seriousness, we were mourning Arabia and the fact that Yemen is the only remotely useful part of the region. And even then, Yemen is more useful as a subject of a larger empire. So I'm already making plans for how I'm going to, as Ethiopia, conquer Yemen.
I'm not
and
gonna
then
lie
leave
to
the
you,
entire rest of Arabia alone.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Joffrey.
It's time to restore the Axumite hegemony.
Yeah, there's a reason why, other than Yemen and Oman, none of Arabia got colonized. And that's because there's nothing of value.
It's a
Like,
worthless shithole.
the age of colonialism ended before the oil was discovered.
Age of colonialism ended before before anyone was colonizing any of Arabia either, even Yemen.
Yeah.
It's
so
not
a big part of
useful
this
until oil's
splitting
found.
up of the whole splitting up of the Middle East was in large part because of oil, but yeah,
Mhm.
Arabia's deposits I'm not sure had been discovered yet.
I think in the 50s
Here's
they were
the
not.
resource map. Here's the resources map, Victor. It's all
Lots of
dates.
livestock, lots of
It's
date.
all you're doing in the middle of Arabia is desperately trying to produce enough food to stay alive.
Oh, I'm wrong. Oil was discovered in 1938 in Saudi Arabia. So
Yeah,
a bit too late for colonial power.
it's discovered mid game in Vic 3, so not in the scope. Not in
No,
the scope.
mid game in Hoy. It is out of Victory's scope.
Oh, oh
Vic
no!
3 ends in 1936. It was found in 1938.
It's discovered in
Arabia
Hearts of
has
Iron.
no value. I'm sorry, but it doesn't. Until then, there's nothing.
Hey! There's coffee and incense down here.
Yeah, and that part was colonized, though.
Yeah, and that's why I'm going to, as Ethiopia, make it into my little PogChamp and take over the Adan trade. Yep. It's the only it's that's the tragic thing. It's just yeah, Oman and Yemen are the only parts that are like actually of value other than the holy cities for obvious reasons. Um but just because of
Desert
the
shithole is desert shithole. More news at 11.
yeah. You just because, you know, all right. It's just really funny to me that Hormuz slash Oman are valuable to own specifically because Arabia is so horrible to travel through that people want to travel along the sea. So owning the parts that control
It
that
is
trade is important.
It is 601 years before it gains value.
This is so sad. I mean, hey. You
There's a
have
reason why the
pearls.
caliphs chose to not rule from Mecca.
Yeah, that is true. I get that. Yeah, they could have. They definitely could have chosen it. It would have been the wrong choice, but they could have. Uh,
I mean, there's a reason why even under the very early caliphs they were in Damascus or Baghdad
Yeah,
instead of or even the whole pan Arabic movement after World War One. They planned on making Damascus the capital. So
Vector, yeah, you missed like the talking about how I was coping so hard looking at Oman, being like, hey, they've got copper and stone. It's like that's some of the building blocks of an actual realm, I guess. And then Dark just slapped me. He was like, no, Joffrey, there's no wood.
they're just so lacking so many things. One copper and one stone does not make a functioning country.
Yemen at
right.
least. Yemen at least has a couple stone. You've got some iron, and there's a couple not wood RGOs, but
And it actually has a population.
it's got an actual population. It's got 3 woods counties, so you could theoretically, even though it doesn't have a wood RGO, you could make buildings that would produce less efficiently wood, for what that's worth. But they have a lot of people, relatively speaking, actually. So if you wanted to play them for some reason, you could probably rather quickly control start conquering to the south and cut off Ethiopia before it really snowballs. Because Ethiopia really just feels like the actual power of this region. It's like, and also looking at Persia just made me so sad.
Oh yeah, Iran is going to. I mean, there's a reason why it's called the Persian Gulf.
Yeah, yeah.
Then they tease us that about what next week is. Meanwhile, they show half of next week's map.
Yeah, Iraq and Iran is next week. So
They show us half of it in this one.
yeah.
They finished the feedback review of Anatolia and they'll post it on Monday, and that way It will make a week without a Tinto talk more bearable. On Friday, there will be a map for the regions of Iran and the Caucasus. So, yeah, as you're saying, half of the new region, I don't think I agree with. Actually, that is a lot of Iran. Yeah, that is
Yeah,
a
it
lot
is.
of it. This is the
It
valuable part of it.
depends
So,
on what depends on what you define as the boundaries of Iran, because
I mean,
there's
the
modern
I mean,
Iran, and then there's Greater Iran,
there's
and
there's
there's a bunch
Afghanistan
of
up
other
I
there,
wouldn't
so
I wouldn't say this is like the super valuable part of it. Like, 'cause you got
no.
Tehran and the parts along the Caspian Sea that you
Yeah,
don't see.
that
Those
part
are
is gonna
valuable
be
parts.
like that's gonna be like 10 locations.
Look at how many locations Arabia has. Do you really think it's gonna be 10?
Arabia does have a lot. It's weird. It is
But
so
like
weird to me.
Tehran's huge. I think
Yeah,
it's the most populated part of Iran,
you're right. I
even in this
guess
time period.
I'm just getting it twisted still and not comprehending the fact that even Arabia is this dense in regards to locations. The Caspian Sea is probably going to be well endowed with locations, even the sparse ones. The Khwarezmians had to live somewhere after all. Taking Tinto talks from us. Yeah, it's so sad. Then their holiday. And even this week, they barely managed to get the populations ready for us to talk about.
But also, you could even
Shameful.
see a teaser of the pops of Iran. You can see that southern Iran does not have many people.
Do we get yeah, a little bit in there? So yeah, it's better than Arabia, but
I more meant you can look at the big
I
one.
mean, because it's so
well,
difficult to beat
the big one's
Arabia.
just for the countries, which isn't as
Yeah,
insightful.
exactly. I mean, yeah, it is, because those countries are almost entirely located within that region. The only exception is Ormuz, which still doesn't even hit 90K despite being split on both Arabia and the mainland of Iran. So southern Iran is very low on pop.
You get the Hazara spits with 72K in this clustered little bit there. What is the? Yeah, that's all. That's all mountain. That's all upland stuff too.
Which is basically all
Huh.
Iran is. Iran is all like gonna be elevated.
Yeah. What can we see of it so far? Yeah. Yeah, it really is. Plateau, hills, and mountains. I'm ruining next Friday's map already. This is so
But they've
sad.
given us the info.
I mean, what am I supposed to do? Yeah. What do we just ignore it? Nah, it's right there. Look at it. It's all plateau. I love plateau as an inclusion, by the way. I do love the existence of it, especially with how mountains work, for example. So, I mean, you're not exactly going to be having big winters in Iran. But wait. Oh, hold on. Where's the climate?
It's all arid, always has been.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's all there.
Okay, it is still like cold, arid, and such as much as it gets. So the reason only reason I bring this up is that they often make impassable mountains and just mountains in general more cold climate than other regions. So you can see here that there are clusters there's some continental clusters and cold arid, which will actually probably these will probably have winters, unlike the arid, which probably won't. So you will likely actually have situations where you can't cross certain mountains during the winter because they might actually, if you're, I don't know, like continental might maybe cold arid isn't enough. I bet that's like you get mild winters in cold arid probably. You probably need continental for you to actually have a chance of getting normal and worse winters. So maybe you won't ever be having situations where you can't cross the mountains in Iran due to the winters, but it's a thought. I really love that because I just really like the system and I think it's very interesting how you have plateaus which are flat and often like actually developable lands that are just high in elevation and they're surrounded oftentimes like this by the mountains and the mountains you cannot move into the mountains and you don't want to be stuck on them during the winters so you will have situations where not here I guess because you're not going to be getting much snow here but in the Alps is an excellent example of thanks to that Tinto talk about climates we know that you'll be having situations where you can't move into even though you could technically move into Switzerland um, through non-mountain ways you will be blocked during the winter because you can't move because you can put a fort on a mountain and that will project zone of control and you won't be able to go and siege that fort during the winter and you'll want to assault it down before winter happens again so you want to take over the whole Persian Gulf and become a trade power although without oil you're not sure how powerful that will be and the answer is not very especially since this is the end of the time this is we are actively seeing the point in time where the Silk Road and just this east-west direct trade stops becoming as valuable because the Europeans start to circumvent it. So at game start, that would be good. But as you progress, it's going to be less powerful, and you're going to actually have to leave your neck of the woods to get true power.
I mean, you still have the lovely Persian rugs to do assassination plots with.
It's true. They've got silk. Persian rugs. Let's see if there's any interesting dev responses. We had a discussion here. I sent the minions to yes comment about what the color for the religion should be because Shiite and
Shades
Ibadi
of
look too
green.
similar. Yeah.
Shades of green. That's the only thing that matters.
But they're too close, and they themselves admit that it's too close. So, yes. Shiite must be lighter green, and Ibadi must be darker. Then all will be right with the world. Not a single good natural harbor in the Omani region. No natural harbors at all in Bahrain. Feel free to suggest candidates. Yeah, they've done what research they could. Yeah, I mean, not having good natural harbors doesn't mean that you can't make your own. It just is going to be expensive.
Yeah, which I think sums up modern Arabia's existence to a T.
Oman effectively functioned as a semi-isolated area during the period, as that is not a very traversable region. We will make an extra check after feedback, but in principle, this is odd.
Working as designed.
Working as designed. Okay. So theoretically, Dark will have his wish, and now that they've said it, now that Pavia has expressed their own thoughts on the subject, I believe I agree that maybe it is for the best that land is not traversable. If people didn't really do it, and it functioned pretty separately, then I don't see much reason to make it crossable. Especially since it's quite a large amount of land. That is a large amount of space for you to be crossing on foot. When it's like these are all naval powers anyway. Like so, if Yemen and Oman were going to interact, you'd probably want to do so by boat anyway. Would feel kind of strange to see Yemen marching an army across the desert there to get to Oman. And that would be what's happening. You would not see Oman marching the army on Yemen. I feel so bad for my Abadi boys. No. Historian, yes. No international organizations. Hmm. If those Bedouin tribes aren't societies of pops, how do you prevent any major powers like the Ottomans or Mamluks from conquering Central Arabia every game? There are plenty of mechanisms. Expanding control towards the Arabian desert is not the easiest to do, and it's not the most productive thing to do. Yeah, that does make sense. But the thing is, what would I mean, surely if you were playing as the Mamluks, you could just conquer one of those tribes, subjugate it, and then just feed all of that land to them to deal with as your vassal. And I don't see any reason why you wouldn't want to do that. I mean, it's not very valuable land, but I don't see a reason why you wouldn't. And I can't imagine that the AI is going to be smart enough to think this is not a valuable use of my time. Next idea, play Japan and colonize Western America? Oh, oh, Western America. Not Canada. The poor Blackfoot yet again being left out.
Time to produce Blackfoot anime.
I remember during the last Mega Vector, I saw you convert their last county's culture and I cried. You
Oh,
sent
I
them all
converted
to
everybody's cultures. Yeah, I
Yeah,
sent
you
them all to
did.
Academy Island.
They all went to Academy Island to learn how to duel.
I was helping them. I was giving them a much needed skill and education to survive in the modern world.
Standards. No. Spelling stuff. Don't care about spelling, really. I don't know enough about the subject. Can't confirm the dates for their reviews. Yep, yeah. The reviews, their reviews get done when they get done. It's
The reviews shall happen when they happen,
yeah,
and not a moment before.
the last thing I want is them to rush them out. I want them to release them and put them down when they feel like they're in a good place and are going to be seeing less changes. You know, because when I see those map reviews and it's like, all right, this is the Baltic and they've changed up those cultures. I prefer that to happen when they're not going to be something like, and we'll actually roll back all of those changes to Ruthenian and make it all one culture now. And there's no Smolensk culture anymore. Or actually, we don't want Ruthenian anymore. We're just going to make it Western Baltic again. Would prefer them to be good and solid about that. Do, do, do. Oh, talking about just different Muslim religion stuff. We have the intention to make we have the intention to make differentiation of the Shiite branches. How exactly? It's something they'll have to talk about in the future. So they're probably then just a mechanic, like, cause I mean there's only so much Shia on the map. Like Sunni is so much larger, and yeah, I mean they're only doing one Protestantism religion, right? I think that they're just doing Protestant. I mean, they're not
No,
calling it Protestant anymore, but
they've got Lutheran, they've got Lollard, they've got
Calvin,
Hussites, they've got
Calvinism.
Calvinism.
Yeah. Hmm. Well,
I
the
mean,
more,
but they've got more than one Protestant religion this
yeah,
time, from my understanding.
I guess yeah. When I said Protestant, I was just thinking yeah the when the religions that appear post Protestant Reformation, but now that you put it like that, Vector, it does really put into perspective from someone who lives in a region dominated by Christian religions. how obvious it is. Oh, well, of course you have the Cathars as their own religion. Of course you have the Waldensians and the Lollards and such as their own religions. And then to hear then someone who presumably this is from the perspective of a Muslim person, uh, who have this now really big block of text talking about historical factors, I can see why they would be frustrated then that Sunni and Shia are just monolithic blocks of religion. Now, I do believe that Sunni is much more together. I don't know a ton about the subject, but as
Yeah,
far as I understand, it's a
and
lot more.
the question, as per my understanding, so yeah, there's all these branches of Sunni Islam, these schools that
Yeah.
have thoughts about it and stuff. But, it's like they always claim to be the true Sunni faith. So does it make sense then if there are more schools of interpretation? But then, all the Protestants claim to have the one true faith as well. So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
So it's a big distinction.
yeah.
So with Sunni, it feels appropriate that the religion is like put together, and you can have interesting mechanics around the different schools that make the religion flavorful.
Hmm.
But then when it comes to Shia, I can see where the dispute can come in between, do you separate the different Shia schools? Because that, as far as I understand it, it is something where Shia is much more fragmented. But yeah, in any case, that's something for the people that understand it more than me to discuss in detail. If I had exactly on the call, then he would have insights in that, I'm sure. Holy sites for Islam. Yes, they've talked about holy sites multiple times now, but haven't explained. Perhaps sometime they will give us because they gave us a brief Tinto talk on religions to show us just vague map of the world religions, but perhaps we will have a more in-depth one at some point, where we can learn about holy sites. Because all we know about them right now is that they cause immigration. Like people who are that religion will be more likely to want to move there, and you can make money from pilgrimages and the like. But yeah, don't know much more than that. Okay, we know that the next Tinto map will include Afghanistan as well, so that's good. That will give us. I guess it's just all of the mountains in the area, really. All the mountains leading up to Kashmir, probably. Maybe we'll get a little bit of. We might get a sneak peek of Kashmir and Sindh then. That would be neat. Weren't there some Jews in Yemen, or are they all mostly gone? Just a minority at this point. Not yet checked/implemented. Yeah, they really were sleeping at the wheel with the populations in this one. Yeah. Hopefully Persia is in a better state than Arabia was when they
Yeah,
showed off.
I demand to be able to be Zoroastrian Persia. So
We did see. You can see it. It look up in this corner. Look at that. That is the nicest
huzzah!
religious color. I don't think it's up
Yeah,
for debate. Out of every religious color we've seen so far, that is the steel blue fucking Zoroastrian. It's I almost want to play it just because of the color.
yeah.
I can
I mean,
picture that.
I got used to its EU4/Crusader Kings color. That kind of weird
Hmm.
greenish yellow. But yeah,
I much
it's
more
hard to beat
appreciate
a nice blue.
and I very much appreciate it being distinct here because uh, if it was a greenish color and it would have blended in a little bit with all the
Yeah.
Sunni. Oh, I completely forgot until seeing this again that there's actually a bunch of Orthodox minorities, huh? In the Levant. Didn't remember that.
Well, yeah, and you can see the Nestorian minorities in
Hmm.
Iraq there.
Yes, it's all very interesting how many of the various Christian denominations you see minorities of. This because there's plenty in Egypt, plenty of the yes Christian minorities there. Copt with Copt being a culture, and they're debating on whether or not making the Copts a ethno-religion where you can't convert.
Yep.
Is that you can't convert? Yeah, I think you can't convert the religion until you convert the culture. I think that's what
No,
it is.
you can't. You can't convert the religion until.
So
No, you can't convert the culture until you've changed the religion.
yeah,
I
it's
can't
okay.
remember. We need to double check.
Well, it's a modifier that the faith gives you at any rate. At any rate, the pops that have that faith, you need to convert one first, but I don't remember which one. Hmm. Probably the religion. It's probably that you need to convert the religion first. But in any case. Hmm. And they're talking about making Hormuz be called Hormuz because it's the English. They've been using English spelling so far. Yeah, probably for the best, for the sake of consistency. There have been plenty of internal discussions how to represent the different polities and tribes, and it's still a matter of review. Yeah, you see they mentioned Vector that um, basically all of the countries in the middle of Arabia are tribal.
Yeah, I did read the
Okay.
dev diary earlier today.
You
So,
you did read the thing before. Okay, so yeah,
yeah.
that's the interesting thing for me that they're going to be countries. I'm curious how that works because this is the first time they've properly mentioned settled countries that are tribal government. Like what does that mean? Because they're not monarchies. They explicitly stated monarchies that are the ones along the coast. The other ones are tribal. So what does that mean? Because they've also said that their countries are going to be full of tribal pops, and that is interesting as well, saying that the tribal estate will be the most powerful by a margin. But how does your government affect that? Does being a tribal government make the tribes more loyal somehow? Does it give you bonuses to interacting with them? Uh, I don't know. We'll have to see
Yeah.
in time. But I imagine it's going to be interesting. It might I expect based on I have faith that they will make it a fun and interesting distinction. Sea zones. Country type and government type are separate categories. Is it a possibility to have tribal government army-based countries? It's technically possible to have tribal government army-based countries. Why can't you talk about that yet? What does that mean? Huh. I wonder what countries that would be referring to then. Two questions considering the spelling of hormones. Yep. Yep. Well, maybe Central Asia. Yeah, I wouldn't be entirely surprised if Central Asia is has army-based countries that are tribal. But like what does it apply to, you know? It's like well if you take like going under the assumption, for example, that the Iroquois would probably be a like actually playable country, are they represented then as one of these tribal settled countries like in Arabia, or are they represented by an army-based country? What is the
We
distinction?
don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll know until we actually get there.
Yeah. But this has made me very curious now. With Pavia saying that it's technically possible, can't talk about it yet, because that means that there are some. But but yeah, just saying it's probably 2 to 3 Tinto maps away. But yeah, Central Asia is probably getting pretty close. Then you're right. I imagine thinking about it from that perspective. Next is the rest of the Persian mountain areas and the Caucasus. So after
And Iraq.
that,
And then after that will probably
and
be
Iraq, yeah,
Central Asia or India.
I we didn't get I think I bet that the one after that will be the Caspian Sea. All the rest of that line because we haven't seen the Golden Horde properly.
Yeah, that makes
That's
sense.
my guess. And then I think we'd go to Central Asia. Central Asia / Siberia, perhaps. And then just kind of keep moving around horizontally eastwards until we've seen the entirety of the old world, and then finally, surely then, surely then we see the western coast of North America, and as a result, the Blackfoot.
Just for you, Joffrey, they won't add the Blackfoot.
I do sometimes wonder how many, if any, Paradox devs see these videos, and if they're gonna eventually make. I would love so much if they made a comment in reference to my rantings, but I doubt it.
I hope that they just make all of Alberta impassable. It's what it deserves.
Don't make me bring up that map again.
What map?
Oh, the map that shows that most of the prairie provinces are like half impassable, but Alberta is like it's like 3/4 passable. Most of Alberta is fine. So it's like I can't be too mad at them.
I imagine it lines up with the Canadian Shield.
You still can't believe they're going to make India in just one Tinto map. Did they say that? I think they did. That sounds familiar. Like they did just mention doing India in just one. I don't know why, but I think I did hear that. We already kind of saw. I mean, we saw like population numbers of India. It don't count. I very much am looking forward to seeing just actual breakdown of India. I want to see all of that stuff. I'm especially curious about the religious and culture map, as I always am. But I think we can just take another glance at if there's anything worth checking out here. Multiplayer thread. Svalbard Islands. Someone be like, where is Svalbard? You showed us Scandinavia, but not Svalbard.
Wow, with all 4 people that live there.
I doubt there's anyone there at this point in time. I don't know, like, historically when they inhabited the place, but... nation ruining. I don't know. Illy feedback. Well, that's probably going to be that for today then. I don't think there's much more to be said. So, I think we can wrap this one up here, unless anyone else has anything left to say. I thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye!